2012 marks the 50th anniversary of the James Bond movies, and man, has the series spawned some truly memorable moments. Like that time 007 took on a giant laser tank in front of Fort Knox in Goldfinger, or when he murdered dozens of henchmen with a helicopter minigun in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Confused? That's because those things never actually happened. But that hasn't stopped Eurocom from shoehorning them into 007 Legends, the new Bond game that takes beloved characters and settings from Bond's past and repurposes them for what basically amounts to a lackluster Call of Duty clone.
Nice working with you, Mr. Bond.
Sometimes you just get lucky.
The campaign opens with a scene from Skyfall. Daniel Craig's 007 is accidentally shot by a female sniper whilst fending off an enemy on the roof of a moving train. He then plummets down into a river below, and while his lungs fill up with water, he's struck by a series of flashbacks to his previous adventures, which serve as the 5 different missions in the game. Those missions are taken from Goldfinger, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, License to Kill, Die Another Day, and Moonraker, with an additional mission based on Skyfall to be released later as free DLC. Since it's Daniel Craig's Bond replacing the likes of Connery and Moore, each mission is set in the present day. But despite that justification, it still feels a little odd to be breaking into Blofeld's Alpine lair and taking surveillance snaps with your smartphone. Can't wait to Instagram his secret blueprints! Each of these missions aren't really tied together with any kind of narrative thread. There's merely a brief underwater segue before it's straight back into the action. There's honestly no rhyme or reason to the sequence of the missions you play through either, save for the fact that the developers deliberately push Moonraker to the end of the game, because hey, nothing says climax like laser gun battles in outer space. Still, the essence of Bond is there. There's fast cars, faster women, and of course the signature banter between our hero and each supervillain.
Do you expect me to talk?
Oh, Mr. Bond, I expect you.
Yep, we've heard it before, Goldfinger. Unfortunately, these glimpses of the Bond fans know and love are pummeled into insignificance by the mind-numbing shooter gameplay that feels more like a love letter to Rambo than it does to 007. Which is not to say that there isn't the option of stealth, it's just that the stealth mechanics are so poorly implemented that it's almost always easier just to go in all guns blazing. Bond moves silently while crouched, so you can creep up behind guards and knock them out, often by punching them right in the arse. I'm not joking. However, your inability to move bodies, coupled with the absence of any reliable way to measure the guard's line of sight, means it's incredibly difficult to remain unseen for long. Once your cover is blown, then it's back to the shooting. Unless you're in one of the mandatory stealth areas of the game, in which case it's an instant mission fail. When you're not punching bullets into the same garden variety henchman over and over again, you're completing simplistic minigames to hack safes, or spending your accrued XP on rudimentary weapon upgrades. There are also a handful of vehicle missions in the game, but they're honestly so awful that they're barely worth mentioning. On the plus side, they're all pretty short. And how about those encounters with the classic supervillains? Well, they basically each amount to a cross between a QuickTime event and a game of Punch-Out. You play Punch-Out with Oddjob in Fort Knox, Punch-Out with Blofeld in a cable car, Punch-Out with Jaws, and then you just punch out of the game to go off and read a book or something. The game's only saving grace is its multiplayer. While the online game is functional enough, it's the 4-player split screen that comes as a novelty at a time when split-screen gaming is largely being ignored in the FPS genre, unless you already own GoldenEye Reloaded, in which case it's just more of the same. .007 Legends fails on 2 major counts. As a modern FPS experience, it lacks the production values and imagination that makes games like Call of Duty so spectacular. And as a tribute to the 50-year legacy of James Bond, it's simply a disaster. There hasn't been a product so ill-fitting of James Bond since Sean Connery's girdle in Never Say Never Again. Bond doesn't even get the line right.
By the way, I didn't catch your...
James Bond.
No! It's Bond, James Bond, you idiot! Die-hard Bond fans will hate it, and with a real Call of Duty game just a month away from release, there's no reason for anyone else to care either. For more on 007 Legends, head on over to IGN.